Yeah, so kind of an inside joke, I think, with the Twitch streaming community at large is I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
I'm Queen City News Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young, and I spend a lot of my job talking about money. So we are going to be bringing in a real person every single week talking about the creative ways that they are making some extra money. We're talking about their side hustle, the pros, the cons, what got them into it, and hopefully their success stories. And today I am so excited to introduce to you a content creator and streamer, Tiffany B, aka Hey Shady Lady. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us. Big fan. So first off, I think that there might be some viewers out there who kind of maybe don't understand what streaming is, what content creation is. Kind of break down the premise of really all of this.
Of streaming and content creation. It's like the ultimate side hustle, to be honest, because you really just get paid to be yourself. I remember when I was a kid, they would ask me what I wanted to be when I grow up, and I was like, I just want to get paid to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it. And I feel like streaming kind of answers that question. A lot of people will stream video games or they'll stream. I've been doing co-working and productivity streams, which is silent streams where people just work alongside me. There's people that stream cooking, dancing, fitness, all kinds of stuff. On Twitch, it's primarily a gaming audience. It's how it started back when it used to be called Justin TV, but it's primarily video games. So it's got a gamer culture to it. But it's just a really fun, interactive way to share what you love, share your passions, create community, attract like-minded people to you, and make a living while doing it. So it's definitely, I feel like, the ultimate solution to people that are looking for a fun job that's remote at home. You set the rules, you set the standards, but it is a grind. It is a hustle. So
And I want to show our viewers what your setup looks like because it's really, really impressive. So you're based out of Western North Carolina. This is your video right here. A lot of great gadgets, screens. I'm sure a lot goes into just creating that.
Oh yeah. And I started streaming back in 2016 with one monitor, an old hinky dinky webcam, a really bad microphone. The microphone came out of the webcam to start with. And it took me, I mean, I only just finished getting all the pieces for this setup in the last like 2 years. So it's been like an 8+ year process. Building up all of this equipment. And a big problem that people think coming into streaming is that they need to start like this. This is where you begin streaming. And if you don't have a setup that looks like this or has these pieces, then you're not going to be a successful streamer. But there's plenty of people that just pull their cell phone out and walk down the street talking. If you have the essence, if you have that je ne sais quoi, that energy, that X factor, you literally can stream from a potato. But I've always wanted the hacker setup, so I worked my way up to that 3 monitor round out. And yeah, I definitely love doing like lifestyle. I love aesthetic. I love decorating. So I go a little extra, but some of the pieces like the microphone and the audio equipment, for example, are the further you get down the line, the more you do want to start kind of leveling up your equipment to get a crisper, better sound, and a crisper, better look. My camera is my next major upgrade that needs to happen, but I'm still operating on a webcam I've had for 6 or 7 years, and it's just an entry-level webcam, and it doesn't, that's what I think I want to stress the most is I have this insane setup, but it's not necessary to get started. But it is a lot of fun to build as you go.
Yeah, which I'm sure is good to hear, from a viewer's perspective that you can start on a cell phone and then it really varies in terms of how much you want to invest into this. And then kind of going back, I mean, when you first started kind of getting into this industry, I understand it's when you first kind of moved to Western North Carolina and you were kind of looking for a community to build. And that's kind of what led you here.
Yeah, definitely. I had previously lived in a city for 10 years and all my social group, and I was young, I was like 24, 25. So all of my friends were in that area. When I moved to Western North Carolina, I was socially isolated, which I didn't really realize until it was like a year or two deep. And when I first started streaming, I didn't understand what I was doing until I looked back years later. And I realized that I was looking for friends. I was looking for social interaction, people that liked the same video games that I did, people that didn't think I was weird for cosplaying or dressing up, wearing wigs, doing all this crazy makeup and stuff. That was what I was actively seeking by creating that. And I was kind of like positioning myself as a lighthouse, for other weirdos to see, like, this space is safe for us to be here, come join me. And yeah, it's slowly built from there. And my best friends now are from, I've got, friends in the UK, friends in Australia, friends from, the North United States, all the way over in California. Most of my friends are met through the internet now. And I think a lot of people could probably relate to that after the pandemic. Everyone started going remote and virtual as much as possible. So a lot of us probably have that narrative now. I do have some local friends, and I'm starting now to kind of transition and think how I can bring some of my Twitch information. Should I start doing like panels, like hosting little seminars in the local area, trying to help people get started in this? Because I am starting to feel that, like, I still want the physical connection. So I've got plenty of digital community, but that is the beauty of Twitch, the beauty of and YouTube, wherever you're streaming from. You will, if you build it, they will come. Famous movie quote. And over time, people will find you if you just fly your freak flag wild enough.
Oh, I love it. So you went you went in with a mission of finding friends, finding a community. It sounds like you really succeeded in that. And then let's kind of go to kind of like your first big break, because you were streaming for kind of quite some time, video games, kind of just talking, but it really was one video that really kind of changed the trajectory of your career.
Yeah, definitely. And it was kind of by accident. So I had started YouTube just on the side of like doing vlogs and lifestyle. Here's my nails and my makeup tutorial, And when I started streaming in 2016, I did start networking and befriending a lot of people. I was friends with a lot of people who were also just getting started. I was streaming to, 10, maybe 15 people. And that's, a fairly good average for someone that's just starting. But it's still, when you hear 10 viewers in the scheme of streaming, it's like, oh, you've got like a couple of friends hanging out with you.
Yeah.
But I started there. I had a bunch of people that I was networking with that I would go and watch their streams. I was part of a stream team, which is a collection of streamers that all help each other grow, that was recruiting people. And I was in charge of going through the applications and stuff, and to see who can get pulled on, who matches the criteria. And I found myself sort of analyzing while I was going through, like, we can't use this person, we can't have this person. I've never heard them speak once on their stream. They don't know how to talk. And as I was going through that process, I started realizing there was a lot of people that just didn't know how to entertain. They thought, I'm just going to sit here and play video games with my mouth half open, zombie mode. They thought that was the way to do it. And I created a video called How to Talk to Yourself When No One Is There. And that was really poor. The audio was coming out of my speakers back into my microphone. There's a sound echo, but I got over 500,000 views, and I was just analyzing the most popular streamers, showing what they were doing, why it worked, how you needed to narrate your inner thoughts, bring that inner monologue out, express yourself. It be a little animated. You got to turn it up just a little bit, but you still want to be authentic and real. That video just popped off, and that was my first ever taste of like virality, and that was around 2017, maybe 2016. That kind of got my foot in the door with this creator education style content. And this video that's playing on the screen right now is the second one that popped off. And I posted this around the start of the pandemic, 2020. Everybody was in home, wanted to make money. They couldn't go out to work. So it was really just a perfect storm. I really went hard to try to make a great educational piece that would help small creators get into it, have the equipment they needed, the understanding, get a feel for the culture, the etiquette, and just what it's like to be a streamer. And this one is, I think, around 600K now. I've also got an OBS tutorial, which is the main software you use to stream, that just broke 100K. The primary videos I have that perform well are in this education sphere. And some people, I'd like to eventually have like gaming and lifestyle overtake that, but I am kind of a natural teacher, so it does make sense. And I think that I come at it in a way that makes it accessible and relatable. Because a lot of the tech tutorials are this really like high tech, like super gamer bro energy. And I have like a little bit more of a down to earth, like nurturing feel, which is kind of lacking in that space. So I think that's part of the perfect storm that helped me kind of take off with that.
Yeah, and it sounds like viewers really kind of connected with you. What was it like to go from, okay, my videos are getting 5 to 10 views to now, I mean, hundreds of thousands in what appears to be really overnight? I mean, what was that?
Yeah. It was really overwhelming, to be honest, and I didn't handle it well at the start because I wasn't used to that many eyes on me. I'm a relatively introverted person, and the first one that went off with that "How to Talk to Yourself When No One Is There" video, there were a lot of mean comments, and everyone talks about this like from a content creator perspective, but you don't realize until you're in the seat like receiving that stuff. And I got defensive, and I like clapped back in like pretty immature ways. But it was like 8-9 years ago, and I've grown a lot from it. I do think it's kind of a hurdle or something that everybody has to go through as you're becoming, maybe a hazing is a good word for it. Like you have to learn what it feels like, what it looks like, how you're going to respond. When you do respond one way, the reaction that comes back from that. And I think in like classical Hollywood era, they call this PR training. Nobody has PR training when you're a streamer, so you don't know what you're doing. And this is where we get a lot of like great viral hits, especially like TikTok creators and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People are just raw, but that's kind of the reality TV element of it. And I think that's why people like content creators so much, is there's a reality TV element.
Yeah, you're kind of just winging it,
Oh yeah. 100%. And I think that's true for everybody in the world. We all think everybody has everything together, but in truth, we are just all kind of winging it. And most content creators are, because there's no streaming academy, there's no Twitch university, there's no course you take in college. I think that they're developing. I think that people are starting to see that this is a real career possibility, like with huge amounts of money that are going into it from ad revenue, people that are wanting to place ads, sponsorship, partnerships. It's a huge money making space, and the power that a content creator has with the amount of eyes on them to influence people, where the term influencer comes from. Advertisers and corporations see that, and they're willing to put money in people's pockets if they'll slip their little brand name in and make it seem normal and casual, like they're not getting paid to do it. It's definitely,
well, on that
definitely
note,
a lot of money.
We have a lot to talk about, especially the money side of this, but we're going to be taking a really short break. Queen City News Plus Side Hustle. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. I'm Queen City News Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young, and we're going to continue our conversation with Tiffany B. So, Tiffany, we were just kind of talking about the financial side of all of this. So just kind of break down how someone kind of can make streaming and content creation into a side hustle or possibly their main job.
Yeah, so streaming is a side hustle that spawns 1 million side hustles, to be honest. The primary way that people are going to make money is you start out on Twitch streaming and you're just someone on Twitch. After you build up a certain amount of metrics, I think it's 3 average viewers and a certain amount of followers and like 3 streams in 1 month, you become what's called an affiliate with Twitch, the Twitch platform, and it allows you to monetize your channel. Monetizing your channel doesn't mean you're automatically going to make money. There is a big increase on like ad revenue that's going on right now. So I would say probably 40 to 50% of my income on Twitch is based in ads now, which did not used to be the case. That is definitely grown over the last couple of years. The primary way is by having people subscribe to your channel, which is a $5 payment that goes to Twitch. I guess depending, if you go on mobile, it's a little more expensive. So do it from your computer. But you subscribe, 50% of that goes to Twitch, 50% of that goes to the streamer. And those metrics change if you become a Twitch partner, which is like the next step after affiliate. It's 75 average viewers, more streams per month, and other metrics like that. It's mostly that 75 average viewer you're trying to hit that a lot of people never make. It's not a huge percentage of people that stream on Twitch are Twitch partners. It is growing over the last several years, but I do think more people are investing time and energy into it, and they're growing the partner program. When you hit a partner, you can start to kind of negotiate those contract terms, maybe get more, 60% split of the sub revenue. But it's primarily people choosing to click subscribe on your channel. It's like a Patreon or a Ko-fi. On YouTube, it's called memberships and things like that. So it's a microtransaction. It's a monthly subscription fee. So people just choose to support. You get some things in exchange, like you get cute little emotes you can use in the chat. It makes you feel like you're one with the community. There's a bunch of icons and kind of gimmicky stuff to make it feel worth it to pay that subscription fee. So depending on how many people you have subscribing, that could be your primary source of income. People that average between like 25 to 50 viewers, which is still under that partnership, I tend to see them average like 50 to 200 subscribers at any point in time. And you could rough that out to a couple $100s a month. So that right there is your side hustle. You know what I mean? That just supplements what you're doing. Obviously, you can't pay bills and buy groceries on that, but you start to couple in ad revenue. Maybe you start to you have to kind of keep your eyes out. There's other websites like Stream Elements or Noise.gg that offer contracts to the streamers. Like if you play this game to this many viewers for this amount of time, you'll get a $50 paycheck for it. And you as a small streamer, you keep your eyes peeled for opportunities like that. As you start to grow your influence, you hit certain metrics that the brands are looking for, they will start to reach out to you, or you can reach out to them, try to get affiliate deals where you get, X amount of money per sign up to their program using your code, Shady10 for 10% off. I get a little bit of cut from that. The company grows their business. And sometimes you'll get, if you're doing YouTube, and some Twitch sponsorships will happen where if you feature a 20-30 minute segment unboxing this product, we'll pay you this flat fee, or you'll get a percentage, or there's, other various terms of the contracts for that. But once you start to roll into the product placement, the sponsorships, that's where, when I was like, in the setup that y'all are seeing on the screen, the majority of that was bought when I started doing sponsored videos on my YouTube channel and when I was a contracted podcast host on iHeartRadio. So, but I would still say 50% of my income was Twitch at that time, and 50% of my income was various contracts that I had signed up with and partnerships and sponsorships.
So at any point in time, did kind of the money aspect and all the logistics that kind of go around that, did the pressure ever kind of, take the joy away out of something that you genuinely love, gaming or talking? Like, what kind of impact did that have?
100%. And a lot of streamers, when they've started signing contracts, will maybe not talk about it publicly because you don't want to hurt your relationship with your partners. But there's many backseat conversations I've had with people where they're signed, they have to play, 20 hours a week of this video game. And it used to be their passion. And now they're being forced by their own hand of signing the contract. But it's no longer, oh, I'm going to sit down and unwind with my favorite video game. It's like, oh, I have to clock in my hours. And I've seen a lot of people, and myself included, burn out. Once I started, my paychecks increased, and my side hustle became my only hustle when in that period. And sure, my paycheck was increasing, my bank account was getting fuller. I was the most miserable in my streaming career because you take deals that you don't necessarily enjoy, but you're like, oh, that's a pretty amount of money you're offering. Okay, yeah, I'll start making videos that feature your company, and it's not as bad when you're just doing like a 3-minute commercial spot. But I just recently turned down a contract that were offering me peripherals, which are keyboards, mice, microphones, headsets, but it wanted an exclusive partnership with me for 1 year, which means that I couldn't feature any other products in my setup. I couldn't wear headphones from another company. And on my desk, I use a lot of different companies, and I really like my aesthetic, beautiful keyboards. So I would have had
you'd have to change the whole thing.
Everything. And I just bought that keyboard, and it was a really, really, it wasn't, the financial terms for me were not even remotely worth it. And it's something I do want to kind of like make a video about, not with the company specifically, but like, you might think this money's worth it, but it's not when you look at the grand scheme. If I had signed that, I would have been miserable. I would have gotten a free set of peripherals and like affiliate payments if people bought the products with my name. But like that's really it. And it's when people kind of like make the deal with the devil, so to speak, and they sign those contracts, they're doing it in an exchange in a moment, and then it's like a little piece of you is like you're no longer doing it for passion. It's all become like about the money. And that's, I think, with content creation influencing, that's a big like debate or discussion around influencers is they're repping products that they don't actually like. They'll like make a video about it and then they throw it away the next day because they're just doing it for the paycheck. And that's where you struggle a lot with trust of your audience. So I take that very seriously, and I don't like to feature any products that I don't wholeheartedly believe in. But some creators don't do that, and I think that even being a reality makes a lot of people side-eye influencers and can create a lot of tension when you're trying to decide if you want to take a deal or not. Some people will choose not to just because they don't want to seem like a sellout, so.
Yeah, it sounds like being picky can kind of help keep your authenticity while also growing, becoming a bigger creator. So on that note, we are going to take one more break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Side Hustle. We're going to get right back into it. So, Tiffany, we were just talking about kind of the authenticity side that creators kind of have to balance in terms of making their audience happy, but also themselves. Now let's get kind of into the hours here. I think when a lot of people think about side hustles, they think maybe, okay, a couple hours a week, maybe 15, but that's not necessarily the case if you want to become successful at this.
Yeah, so kind of an inside joke, I think, with the Twitch streaming community at large is I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7. This is something I would really caution people, like just because you start bringing in like a little paycheck from Twitch doesn't mean you should quit your job. This is a big conversation piece in new streamers is when is enough money? When do I have enough money coming in from Twitch that I can quit the job? But it's not something that's a consistent paycheck. And this is a lot with content creation too, is it's flaky. Do you have the same viewers from month to month? And you really get focused on building those numbers. So you will start to pour more time and energy, even if it's not an actual streaming process where you stream 2 or 3 hours a day, a couple of days a week. Maybe you're spending 2 or 3 hours a day also tweaking your setup, working on your layouts and your overlays, editing videos, trying to publish those videos on TikTok or Instagram you're marketing yourself to grow yourself and get more people to come in and watch your videos. So you will start to sink a lot of hours into it. So you could start out doing maybe 10 hours a week as a stream side hustle. And then as you start to get that little like glint of a paycheck, you're like incentivized and you're like, oh, well, if I double down a little harder and let me put 5 more hours in, let me put 5 more hours in. And before you know it, you could be working 24/7 on it. And for me, I do work 24/7. But I'm side hustling with my side hustle. I still work. I work as a brand consultant and social media manager for multiple companies or multiple small businesses that spawned out of my Twitch. It had helped me build my background enough to be able to offer that to businesses. But it's something that you either set a hard limit for yourself or it will very quickly take over your life. And because it's fun, because you're playing video games, because you're hanging out in Discord and talking to your community, watching movies with them, engaging them, talking on social media, it doesn't feel like work until you look back and what have you done with the week? And it's been 90% all related to growing your Twitch channel.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of work goes into it. And I know that just content creation really took off during the pandemic. I know that you were really in this industry before that. But for the people who are out there who might be watching this show to maybe pick up a new side hustle, I mean, is there any advice? I know that you have a whole channel on advice and in becoming popular and being successful. But just for someone who is kind of learning about this for the first time, I know we spoke earlier, this is not a get rich quick thing that you can do. But what are your thoughts or what's your kind of advice?
For someone that's curious and hasn't looked into Twitch before, I would recommend being a viewer of the platform for a little bit. If you're completely unfamiliar with it, start looking around, trying to find stuff, and is trying to find things that you like, and maybe even like with YouTube, find content creators that you like and understand what it is that you enjoy before you just dive in. Maybe you've already got like a feeling like I want to make a cooking channel, or I want to, do this or that. Maybe you already have that idea. I also would really urge you to start slow. Don't expect overnight success. It is not a get rich quick scheme. And if you think it's that way, you're going to burn out immediately. Really go into it for the passion, for the fun of it, for trying to build community, to share and express things that you might not get to at your 9 to 5. That's the big thing for Twitch for me is I get to be most myself when I'm streaming. My real personality, my real passions and interests get to be expressed and connected with and validated. That's better than the paycheck for me, especially if you work corporate jobs and you're, kind of like closed off. So just having that ability to connect with people, that would be what I tell most creators to try to focus on in the beginning. And then when you start to get the momentum and you start to get the paychecks coming in, really think about long-term and try to flash back to when you were just a viewer, what you would have thought about that contract coming in at that time, what you would think about people. Like, try to keep a good bird's eye view on what you're doing and not get too tunnel visioned on the money, or else I think that you could end up in a job that you don't even realize you don't like anymore until you're way too deep in it. And then you feel like you have to delete the whole business and start over.
Yeah. And it's okay to take breaks.
Definitely. 100%. Yeah. There's people taking hiatuses is commonplace in Twitch. I've throughout my career, there's many times where I've just stopped for 6 months, or, different periods of time, sometimes a couple of weeks or whatever it is. Life happens. You might deal with family members passing away or pet emergencies like I have, or Hurricane Helene that we just went through. You never know what life is going to throw at you. And it's not something that you need to make your entire life focus, or else you're going to miss out on life just feeling like you're kind of chained to your computer or chained to your brand. But that being said, you do have to pour energy into it consistently over a long period of time to see results. So it's all about pacing yourself and finding a balance as you're doing it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate, Tiffany, you speaking with me. I find this topic extremely fascinating. It's great to see your success as well. And for anyone interested, you can give her a follow, watch her on Twitch or YouTube. But thank you again for taking the time to speak with us today.
Of course, Taylor. Thanks so much for having me here. It was great.
All right. Well, that's it for Queen City News Plus Side Hustles. We'll see you next week.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.